So somehow by the mercy of Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is so merciful, and everyone, I mean there's verses, so many verses in Puranas glorifying Vrindavan. It says it sins elsewhere. If you commit sins elsewhere, it means outside of Vrindavan, those sins you'll have to pay. You'll have to pay for those sins. You'll get a reaction. You'll have to pay for those sins by going to hell or suffering heavily in your next life. But any sins committed in Vrindavan are resolved in Vrindavan itself. You're resolved and you're absolved. So you make some heavy sin or whatever, then you'll get the punishment right here, right now in Vrindavan, coming at you. Ta! So this is because in other places, because the mother loves you like anything. And sometimes she loves you so much she cracks you, she gives you a slap to reprimand you. But after she slaps you, her love grows because you generally respond in a positive way. Because she's slapping you to reform your character or reform your behavior or attitude or whatever. So then you grow in newer and better ways after the interaction with your mother. So there's verses in the Radharani Suranidhi, Radharas Suranidhi, to compare Vrindavan to a mother, Vrindatavi. Vrindavan's like a mother. So being like a mother, she's very merciful, and she's very compassionate, and very forgiving. Always giving and always forgiving. It's a very extraordinary quality. This is the quality of true love. The quality of true love is always giving and always forgiving. So this is the nature of Brajadam. And everything's personal. Vrindavan is Radharani and Krishna. You can't separate. So by the mercy of Vrindavan, Prabodhananda Saraswati gets an internal vision. The term is called Sporti, of Radha Govinda's Madhurya Leela. Radharani is picking flowers to decorate Krishna. As soon as Radharani touches the creepers, they automatically blossom with flowers. That's very nice. Mystic power, mystic cities. I remember when I grew up, they had all these science fiction movies and stuff. And I always thought, when I grow up, I'd like to have the power, if I just touch someone, they can disappear. Like ray gun type of thing, they evaporate or whatever. So then I thought it'd be so nice if someone you don't like, you just talk. Little kids have funny ideas sometimes. So that when Radharani would touch the plants, they would, that's what this verse is saying. Radha kara avachita. When she would touch with her hands, they would bloom from the touch of Radharani's hands. Radha kara vachita. The valaries, the vines would horripilate. They would tremble with their sprouts and smile with their flowers. The flowers, oftentimes this analogy is used in describing the environment of Vrindavan, that the flowers are smiling. When Prabhupada was in a garden once, he was visiting in a garden in one temple in the West, and they took him to a flower garden, showed him so many roses and whatnot. And he pointed to the flowers and said, these are the smiles, these are Krishna's smiles. Flowers represent Krishna's smiles. So I always remember that when we did Pujari work, lots of flowers, this is all Krishna's smiles. So when Radharani touches the vines, they produce flowers and they cry from that touch because it's like ecstatic, they're in bliss, they're touched by Radharani. So we cry with our tears when we're happy or we're sad. And the creepers, they cry, and the creepers, they cry with the nectar in their flowers starts dripping out and down their vines. The nectar we call the honey. Eventually it becomes what we call honey. But in the flower it's a very watery substance called nectar. Madhurika. Not Madhurika. I forget the name, something like that. So then when Vishaka sees this, when Radharani touches the vine, and she jokes with Radharani, because she's expert in joking. Hey Sakhi Radha, Be careful. Saki Savadan. You're touching those flowers. But there's a greedy bumblebee, a lobi Madhusudan. And he's buzzing over here around these flowers. And he wants to drink the honey from your moon-like face. So be careful. She's right. Vishaka is reminding her. And Radharani says, Saki, if my face resembles the moon, but the moon has no fragrance, so why in the world would that Madhusudan bee, who's looking for fragrant flowers, be attracted to me, who has a moon face? So this is just, back and forth joking, because she's saying, oh, your Madhusudan's going to drink the honey from your moon-like face. And she says, okay, but he's a bee. Madhusudan means a bee. Sudan means nectar. Madhu means honey. It's a name for Krishna, a name for honeybee. So he's going to drink the nectar. So you would think that Vishaka would have said, that Madhusudan is going to drink the nectar from the flower of your face. But she didn't. She said, the moon of your face, Chandramukhi Radha. So Radharani said, hey, look, you said I have a moon-like face, so what's the point? He said, anyway, he'll come. So this is the first line. The Radharani is touching these vines, and that's why they're special. So hearing about this is to expand our appreciation of the environment that we're living in. Because they have a phrase in English, familiarity breeds contempt. We have to always be reminded. So as a beginner for the classes about Braj Leela and the Radharani and the Manjari Sevas, we want to hear about the uniqueness of the environment of Vrindavan, the passive players, the quiet passive players in the lilas of Radha and Krishna, the plants. We can't say that there are some players in Krishna's Leela that are not quiet and are not passive, if you know what I mean. Like monkeys, not very quiet, and so many dogs. They're all part of Krishna's Leela in Vrindavan. But now we're not going to be glorifying them. I don't really ever see too many glorifications of them, but I do see glorifications of trees and flowers and vines and the land. That somehow, although they were there 5,000 years ago, there were monkeys and all these things. And Krishna fed them, but they're not too much glorified in Sanskrit poetries. Radha kara vachita palava valarike. So this is the first line of the shloka.